An enormous man, dressed in an oilcloth slicker, had entered the tent and removed his hat. He was bald as a stone, and he had no trace of beard, and he had no brows to his eyes, nor lashes to them. He was close on to 7 feet in height, and he stood smoking his cigar even in this nomadic house of God, and he seemed to have removed his hat only to chase the rain from it, for now he put it on again. The Reverend had stopped his sermon altogether. There was no sound in the tent. All watched the man. He adjusted the hat and then pushed his way forward as far as the crate-board pulpit where the Reverend stood, and there he turned to address the Reverend's congregation. His face was serene and strangely childlike. His hands were small. He held them out. "Ladies and gentlemen, I feel it my duty to inform you that the man holding this revival is an impostor. He holds no papers of divinity from any institution recognized or improvised. He is altogether devoid of the least qualification to the office he has usurped, and has only committed to memory a few passages from the good book for the purpose of lending to his fraudulent sermons some faint flavor of the piety he despises. In truth, the gentleman standing here before you, posing as a minister of the Lord, is not only totally illiterate, but is also wanted by the law in the states of Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Arkansas." "Oh, God!" cried the Reverend. "Lies, lies!" He began reading feverishly from his open Bible. "On a variety of charges, the most recent of which involved a girl of 11 years. I said 11, who had come to him in trust and whom he was surprised in the act of violating while actually clothed in the livery of his God." A moan swept through the crowd. A lady sank to her knees. "This is him!" cried the Reverend, sobbing. "This is him, the devil! Here he stands!" "Let's hang the turd!" called an ugly thug from the gallery to the rear. Not 3 weeks before this, he was run out of Fort Smith, Arkansas, for having congress with a goat. Yes, lady, that is what I said. Goat. "Why, damn my eyes if I won't shoot the son of a bitch," said a man rising at the far side of the tent, and drawing a pistol from his boot, he leveled it and fired. The kid and his friend reached the hotel gallery and wiped the water from their eyes, and turned to watch. As they did so, the tent began to sway and buckle, and like a huge and wounded Medusa, it slowly settled to the ground, trailing tattered canvas walls and ratty guy ropes over the ground. By now, men were piling through the doorway, bleeding, covered in mud, cursing. They gathered about the judge. A posse was being drawn to pursue the preacher. "Judge, how'd you come to have the goods on that no account?" "Goods?" said the judge. "When was you in Fort Smith?" "Fort Smith?
Where did you know him to know all that stuff on him?"
You mean the Reverend Green?"
"Yes, sir. I reckon you was in Fort Smith before you come out here."
"I was never in Fort Smith in my life. Doubt that he was." They looked from one to the other.
"Well, where was it you run up on him?"
"I never laid eyes on the man before today. Never even heard of him."